Welcome to the channel NextGen Tech Prep. In today's video, we are diving deep into essential questions and comprehensive answers for the Google Professional Cloud Architect certification. Whether you're preparing for an exam or just looking to sharpen your knowledge, you're in the right place. If you find this content valuable, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. Now, let's get started.
Your organization has a 3-tier web application deployed in the same network on Google Cloud Platform. Each tier, web, API, and database, scales independently of the others. Network traffic should flow through the web to the API tier and then on to the database tier. Traffic should not flow between the web and the database tier. How should you configure the network? The options are: Option A, add each tier to a different subnetwork. Option B, set up software-based firewalls on individual VMs. Option C, add tags to each tier and set up routes to allow the desired traffic flow. Option D, add tags to each tier and set up firewall rules to allow the desired traffic flow.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: 3-tier web application, scales independently, network traffic should flow.
The correct answer is option D, add tags to each tier and set up firewall rules to allow the desired traffic flow.
Why is this correct? D. Network tags allow GCP firewall rules to dynamically target instances by tier, enforcing precise traffic filtering between web, API, and database tiers as instances scale independently. Why are the others incorrect? A. Subnetworks define IP address ranges but do not restrict inter-tier traffic, as all subnets within a VPC can communicate by default unless blocked by firewall rules. B. Installing software-based firewalls on individual VMs creates significant administrative overhead and fails to scale dynamically as instances autoscale. C. Routes define the path network traffic takes to reach a destination, whereas firewall rules are required to allow or deny traffic between tiers.
Your development team has installed a new Linux kernel module on the batch servers in Google Compute Engine, GCE, virtual machines, VMs, to speed up the nightly batch process. 2 days after the installation, 50% of the batch servers failed the nightly batch run. You want to collect details on the failure to pass back to the development team. Which 3 actions should you take? Choose 3. The options are: Option A, use Stackdriver logging to search for the module log entries. Option B, read the debug GCE activity log using the API or Cloud Console. Option C, use Cloud or Cloud Console to connect to the Serial Console and observe the logs. Option D, identify whether a live migration event of the failed server occurred, using in the activity log. Option E, adjust the Google Stackdriver timeline to match the failure time and observe the batch server metrics. Option F, export a debug VM into an image and run the image on a local server where kernel log messages will be displayed on the native screen.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: Linux kernel module, Google Compute Engine, GCE, virtual machines, VMs, failed the nightly batch run, collect details on the failure.
The correct answers are option A, use Stackdriver logging to search for the module log entries, and option C, use Cloud or Cloud Console to connect to the Serial Console and observe the logs, and option E, adjust the Google Stackdriver timeline to match the failure time and observe the batch server metrics.
Why is this correct? A. Stackdriver logging captures application and kernel log entries sent from OS agents, helping pinpoint errors caused by the module. C. Connecting to the VM Serial Console allows viewing startup, OS, and low-level kernel crash logs directly even if networking fails. E. Correlating Stackdriver metrics at the failure timestamp helps identify resource spikes or bottlenecks coinciding with the batch process failure. Why are the others incorrect? B. GCE activity logs track GCP control plane administrative actions and API calls, not internal OS kernel module or batch run errors. D. Live migration events involve GCP infrastructure maintenance and are unlikely to cause targeted 50% software failures related to a kernel module. F. Exporting a VM image to run locally is unnecessary, slow, complex, and unsuited for inspecting cloud VM kernel failures.
Your company wants to try out the cloud with low risk. They want to archive approximately 100 terabytes of their log data to the cloud and test the analytics features available to them there, while also retaining that data as a long-term disaster recovery backup. Which 2 steps should you take? Choose 2. The options are: Option A, load logs into Google BigQuery. Option B, load logs into Google Cloud SQL. Option C, import logs into Google Stackdriver. Option D, insert logs into Google Cloud Bigtable. Option E, upload log files into Google Cloud Storage.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: archive approximately 100 terabytes of their log data, test the analytics features, long-term disaster recovery backup.
The correct answers are Option A, load logs into Google BigQuery, and Option E, upload log files into Google Cloud Storage.
Why is this correct? A. Google BigQuery provides a scalable, low-risk environment to perform SQL analytics on massive log datasets. E. Google Cloud Storage offers cost-effective, durable object storage suitable for long-term disaster recovery backups of 100 terabytes log files. Why are the others incorrect? B. Cloud SQL is a relational database for transactional OLTP workloads, not designed for 100 terabytes log archives or analytical queries. C. Google Stackdriver is meant for operational logging and monitoring, not for long-term archival or large-scale analytics testing of 100 terabytes data. D. Cloud Bigtable is a high-throughput NoSQL database suited for low-latency operational data, making it unnecessarily expensive for log archival.
You created a pipeline that can deploy your source code changes to your infrastructure in instance groups for self-healing. One of the changes negatively affects your key performance indicator. You are not sure how to fix it, and investigation could take up to a week. What should you do? The options are: Option A, log into a server and iterate on the FOX locally. Option B, revert the source code change and rerun the deployment pipeline. Option C, log into the servers with the bad code change and swap in the previous code. Option D, change the instance group template to the previous one and delete all instances.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: source code changes, negatively affects your key performance indicator, investigation could take up to a week.
The correct answer is Option B, revert the source code change and rerun the deployment pipeline.
Why is this correct? B. Reverting the code change in version control and rerunning the automated CI/CD pipeline ensures a reliable rollback while maintaining system consistency across self-healing instance groups. Why are the others incorrect? A. Debugging or fixing code directly on production servers causes configuration drift, breaks CI/CD practices, and changes will be overwritten by self-healing instances. C. Manually swapping code on live servers bypasses version control, leading to untracked environment drift and eventual overwriting by instance group autohealing. D. Manually altering instance templates and deleting instances bypasses source-controlled pipelines, leading to inconsistencies between repository state and infrastructure configuration.
Your organization wants to control IAM policies for different departments independently, but centrally. Which approach should you take? The options are: Option A, multiple organizations with multiple folders. Option B, multiple organizations, one for each department. Option C, a single organization with folders for each department. Option D, a single organization with multiple projects, each with a central owner.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: control IAM policies, different departments, independently, but centrally.
The correct answer is Option C, a single organization with folders for each department.
Why is this correct? C. A single organization with folders per department allows central administration at the root while delegating independent IAM policy management at the folder level for each department. Why are the others incorrect? A. Using multiple organizations complicates central visibility and governance, making overall administrative control fragmented and inefficient. B. Separate organizations for each department prevents centralized management and unified policy enforcement across the entire enterprise. D. Applying IAM policies purely at the project level without folders creates operational overhead and fails to group department resources effectively for independent policy management.
You are designing a mobile chat application. You want to ensure people cannot spoof chat messages by providing a message were sent by a specific user. What should you do? The options are: Option A, tag messages client-side with the originating user identifier and the destination user. Option B, encrypt the message client-side using block-based encryption with a shared key. Option C, use public key infrastructure, PKI, to encrypt the message client-side using the originating user's private key. Option D, use a trusted certificate authority to enable SSL connectivity between the client application and the server.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: mobile chat application, cannot spoof chat messages sent by a specific user.
The correct answer is option C, use public key infrastructure, PKI, to encrypt the message client-side using the originating user's private key.
Why is this correct? C. Encrypting or signing a message with the sender's private key using PKI provides message authenticity and non-repudiation. Since only the specific user possesses their private key, recipients can verify the sender's identity using the corresponding public key. Why are the others incorrect? A. Tagging messages with client-side user identifiers provides no cryptographic verification, allowing malicious users to easily forge or spoof sender IDs. B. Shared key symmetric encryption allows any party holding the key to generate valid encrypted messages, making it impossible to prove which specific user sent the message. D. SSL/TLS secures data in transit between the client and the server, but it does not provide end-to-end user non-repudiation or prevent a client from spoofing payload metadata sent to the server.
As part of implementing their disaster recovery plan, your company is trying to replicate their production MySQL database from their private data center to their GCP project using a Google Cloud VPN connection. They are experiencing latency issues and a small amount of packet loss that is disrupting the replication. What should they do? The options are: Option A, configure their replication to use UDP. Option B, configure a Google Cloud dedicated interconnect. Option C, restore their database daily using Google Cloud SQL. Option D, add additional VPN connections and load balance them. Option E, send the replicated transaction to Google Cloud pub/sub.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: replicate their production MySQL database, Google Cloud VPN, latency issues, packet loss.
The correct answer is option B, configure a Google Cloud dedicated interconnect.
Why is this correct? B. Dedicated interconnect provides a private, low-latency physical connection to GCP that bypasses the public internet, eliminating packet loss and latency issues affecting database replication. Why are the others incorrect? A. MySQL replication requires a reliable stream protocol like TCP to guarantee data delivery. UDP causes data corruption and missing transactions. C. Daily restores do not provide continuous real-time database replication, significantly increasing the recovery point objective, RPO. D. Adding VPN connections increases aggregate bandwidth but does not resolve packet loss and latency inherent to public internet routing. E. Pub/sub is an asynchronous messaging queue, not a native direct target for standard MySQL binary log database replication.
Your customer support tool logs all email and chat conversations to Cloud Bigtable for retention and analysis. What is the recommended approach for sanitizing this data of personally identifiable information or payment card information before initial storage? The options are: Option A, hash all data using SHA-256. Option B, encrypt all data using elliptic curve cryptography. Option C, de-identify the data with the Cloud Data Loss Prevention API. Option D, use regular expressions to find and redact phone numbers, email addresses, and credit card numbers.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords sanitizing personally identifiable information, payment card information, before initial storage.
The correct answer is option C, to identify the data with the Cloud Data Loss Prevention API.
Why is this correct? C. Cloud Data Loss Prevention (DLP) API is the Google Cloud Managed Service specifically designed to discover, classify, and accurately de-identify or redact sensitive data like PI and PCI from text streams before storage. Why are the others incorrect? A. Hashing all data is a one-way function that would obscure the entire conversation, rendering the non-sensitive parts useless for the customer support tool's intended analysis. B. Encrypting data secures it against unauthorized access but does not actually sanitize or remove the PI/PCI from the underlying data before it is stored. D. Building and maintaining regular expressions to find all forms of PI/PCI is highly error-prone, difficult to scale, and lacks the context-aware machine learning capabilities of the DLP API.
You are using Cloud Shell and need to install a custom utility for use in a few weeks. Where can you store the file so it is in the default execution path and persists across sessions? The options are: Option A, /bin. Option B, cloud storage. Option C, /Google/scripts. Option D, /USR/local/bin.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords Cloud Shell, custom utility, default execution path, persists across sessions.
The correct answer is option A, /bin.
Why is this correct? A. /bin resides in the user's persistent home directory and is automatically included in the default $PATH environment variable in Cloud Shell. Why are the others incorrect? B. Cloud storage bucket files are not mounted to the local file system or included in the default execution path, $PATH. C/Google/scripts is a read-only or system directory that resets when the underlying Cloud Shell VM instance terminates. D/USR/local/bin resides on the ephemeral VM root disk, so any files stored there do not persist across Cloud Shell sessions.
You want to create a private connection between your instances on Compute Engine and your on-premises data center. You require a connection of at least 20 gigabits per second. You want to follow Google recommended practices. How should you set up the connection? The options are: Option A, create a VPC and connect it to your on-premises data center using dedicated interconnect. Option B, create a VPC and connect it to your on-premises data center using a single cloud VPN. Option C, create a cloud content delivery network, Cloud CDN, and connect it to your on-premises data center using dedicated interconnect. Option D, create a cloud content delivery network, Cloud CDN, and connect it to your on-premises data center using a single cloud VPN.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords private connection, compute engine, on-premises data center, at least 20 gigabits per second.
The correct answer is option A, create a VPC and connect it to your on-premises data center using dedicated interconnect.
Why is this correct? A. Dedicated interconnect provides private, high-capacity physical connections, 10 gigabits per second or 100 gigabits per second circuits, directly to Google, making it the correct Google recommended choice for VPC connectivity requiring at least 20 gigabits per second. Why are the others incorrect? B. A single cloud VPN tunnel maxes out at 3 gigabits per second of bandwidth, which is insufficient for a 20 gigabits per second throughput requirement. C. Cloud CDN is a content delivery network for caching HTTPS web content at the edge, not a networking solution for private compute engine connectivity. D. Cloud CDN does not provide private network connectivity for compute engine, and a single cloud VPN cannot support 20 gigabits per second bandwidth.
You are analyzing and defining business processes to support your startup's trial usage of GCP, and you don't yet know what consumer demand for your product will be. Your manager requires you to minimize GCP service costs and adhere to Google best practices. What should you do? The options are: Option A, utilize free tier and sustained use discounts. Provision a staff position for service cost management. Option B, utilize free tier and sustained use discounts. Provide training to the team about service cost management. Option C, utilize free tier and committed use discounts. Provision a staff position for service cost management. Option D, utilize free tier and committed use discounts. Provide training to the team about service cost management.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: trial usage of GCP, don't yet know what consumer demand, minimize GCP service costs, Google best practices.
The correct answer is option B, utilize free tier and sustained use discounts. Provide training to the team about service cost management.
Why is this correct? B. Sustained use discounts automatically apply without long-term commitments, making them ideal for uncertain demand. Training the existing team on cost management follows GCP best practices without incurring the overhead of hiring dedicated staff. Why are the others incorrect? A. Provisioning a dedicated staff position for cost management creates unnecessary financial overhead for a startup during its trial usage phase. C. Committed use discounts require a 1 or 3 year commitment, which is risky when demand is unknown, and hiring a dedicated staff member increases overhead. D. Committed use discounts require long-term commitments, which are unsuitable when consumer demand is unpredictable during an initial trial period.
You are building a continuous deployment pipeline for a project stored in a Git source repository and want to ensure that code changes can be verified before deploying to production. What should you do? The options are: Option A, use Spinnaker to deploy builds to production using the red/black deployment strategy so that changes can easily be rolled back. Option B, use Spinnaker to deploy builds to production and run tests on production deployments. Option C, use Jenkins to build the staging branches and the master branch. Build and deploy changes to production for 10% of users before doing a complete rollout. Option D, use Jenkins to monitor tags in the repository. Deploy staging tags to a staging environment for testing. After testing, tag the repository for production and deploy that to the production environment.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: continuous deployment pipeline, Git source repository, verified before deploying to production.
The correct answer is option D, use Jenkins to monitor tags in the repository. Deploy staging tags to a staging environment for testing. After testing, tag the repository for production and deploy that to the production environment.
Why is this correct? D. Monitoring Git tags with Jenkins allows deploying staging tags to a pre-production environment for thorough testing and verification before tagging and releasing the build to the production environment. Why are the others incorrect? A. Red/black deployments in production facilitate rollback but do not verify code changes in a staging environment prior to a production release. B. Testing directly in production exposes live users to potential bugs instead of verifying code changes beforehand in an isolated environment. C. Canary deployments to 10% of production users expose live traffic to unverified code rather than verifying changes in a dedicated staging environment first.
You have an outage in your Compute Engine managed instance group. All instances keep restarting after 5 seconds. You have a health check configured, but autoscaling is disabled. Your colleague, who is a Linux expert, offered to look into the issue. You need to make sure that he can access the VMs. What should you do? The options are: Option A, grant your colleague the IAM role of project viewer. Option B, perform a rolling restart on the instance group. Option C, disable the health check for the instance group. Add his SSH key to the project-wide SSH keys. Option D, disable autoscaling for the instance group. Add his SSH key to the project-wide SSH keys.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: Compute Engine Managed Instance Group, restarting after 5 seconds, health check configured, access the VMs.
The correct answer is option C, disable the health check for the instance group. Add his SSH key to the project-wide SSH keys.
Why is this correct? C. Disabling the health check prevents the auto-healing policy from repeatedly restarting the instances due to health check failures. Adding the SSH key to the project-wide SSH keys enables your colleague to log in and troubleshoot the issue. Why are the others incorrect? A. The project viewer role provides read-only access to GCP metadata, but it does not stop the VM restarts or grant SSH login access into the Linux OS. B. Initiating a rolling restart creates new instances sequentially, which does not resolve the failing health check that is causing the constant auto-healing restarts. D. And autoscaling is already disabled as stated in the question. Disabling it again does not stop the health check auto-healing mechanism from restarting the instances.
Your company is migrating its on-premises data center into the cloud. As part of the migration, you want to integrate Google Kubernetes Engine, GKE, for workload orchestration. Parts of your architecture must also be PCI DSS compliant. Which of the following is most accurate? The options are: Option A, App Engine is the only compute platform on GCP that is certified for PCI DSS hosting. Option B, GKE cannot be used under PCI DSS because it is considered shared hosting. Option C, GKE and GCP provide the tools you need to build a PCI DSS compliant environment. Option D, all Google Cloud services are usable because Google Cloud Platform is certified PCI compliant.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: Google Kubernetes Engine, GKE, workload orchestration, PCI DSS compliant.
The correct answer is option C, GKE and GCP provide the tools you need to build a PCI DSS compliant environment.
Why is this correct? C. GCP infrastructure is certified for PCI DSS, and GKE provides tools like RBAC, network policies, and container isolation that enable customers to build a PCI DSS compliant environment under the shared responsibility model. Why are the others incorrect? A. Multiple compute services on GCP, including Compute Engine and GKE, are within the PCI DSS compliance scope, not just App Engine. B. GKE can be made PCI DSS compliant when configured correctly with proper security controls, network isolation, and access restrictions. D. PCI DSS compliance follows a shared responsibility model, requiring proper customer configuration, and not every GCP service is within the PCI DSS compliance scope.
Your company has multiple on-premises systems that serve as sources for reporting. The data has not been maintained well and has become degraded over time. You want to use Google recommended practices to detect anomalies in your company data. What should you do? The options are: Option A, upload your files into cloud storage. Use Cloud Data Lab to explore and clean your data. Option B, upload your files into cloud storage. Use Cloud Data Prep to explore and clean your data. Option C, connect Cloud Data Lab to your on-premises systems. Use Cloud Data Lab to explore and clean your data. Option D, connect Cloud Data Prep to your on-premises systems. Use Cloud Data Prep to explore and clean your data.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: degraded over time, Google recommended practices, detect anomalies.
The correct answer is option B, upload your files into cloud storage. Use Cloud Data Prep to explore and clean your data.
Why is this correct? B. Cloud Data Prep is Google's recommended visual tool for exploring, cleaning, and detecting anomalies in data. Staging files in cloud storage before processing is the standard best practice, as Data Prep natively integrates with cloud storage objects. Why are the others incorrect? A. Cloud Data Lab is a code-based notebook environment for data science, whereas Cloud Data Prep is the recommended visual tool designed specifically for data exploration, cleaning, and anomaly detection. C. Cloud Data Lab relies on Python code rather than dedicated visual data preparation features, and directly connecting it to on-premises systems bypassing GCP storage is not recommended. D. Cloud Data Prep is designed to process data staged within Google Cloud, such as Cloud Storage or BigQuery, rather than directly querying on-premises source systems.